Well, Muriel was a lady that bowled in the bowling center at Country Lanes. That's where I'm out of, Farmington Hills, Michigan. I work for Alita Sill and Michelle Mullen in the pro shop, and she was in her 80s. She would never tell me her age. We ended up bowling in a trio league together, and I bowled with her the first season that the pro shop was open. And she was she was so strong at bowling. She never quit. She bowled 3 leagues in that center, and with me that was her 4th. And she passed away about 2 weeks ago, and she was a very dear friend, and I always liked her drive for bowling, and we just connected. So her daughter came in just right after she passed away, and she gave me a charm that I've put in my pocket, and I've been bowling with in my pocket. And every time before bowling, I would just look up to the sky, ask God, you know, to give me the strength if I bowled bad, to be positive and just represent the sport properly. And then also just to impress Muriel, because she always said that, you know, I always impressed her. And her daughter said that I was like a daughter to her, so she gave me her charm, so.
Very thoughtful as she gets up in the 6th frame, leading by 13.
7 pin for her. She has that lucky charm with her right now in her right pocket.
Put some tape in.
It worked a little bit that time, Dave. That had potential to be a little bit of a disaster, as you see her putting some tape in the thumb hole. 2 of the most important components of a game are good arm swing, and that good arm swing was right there. And you saw the ball hooking a little high. Once again, the little extra speed help hold the line. You don't want to throw a bowling ball so hard that you throw it through the break. But anything under 16, you're going to be fighting, controlling your hook. So they're both in the zone. They just got to get striking. Cross lane for the spare.
She picks up. Takes down the 7 pin, has her spare. It's the first match, step ladder bowling all the way to the top seed, Liz Johnson from just outside Buffalo, New York. She is the bowler to beat here. Well, we talked about at the top of the broadcast how many great bowlers we've seen here, big numbers. This is a different bowling center, an arena that's just set up for this event only. Across the street, National Bowling Stadium was where the qualifying and match play took place.
Good point there, Dave. There's 78 lanes across the street. If you're an avid bowling fan, sometime visit the stadium, enjoy Reno. Now, as you see, Edwards up in the 6th frame, can cut the lead down to just 2 pins and make it a match.
High, crossing over, almost going Brooklyn. And the 6-10 left there for Brenda. Not all she wanted on lane 4.
Not even close. She lays the ball down on about the 13th board. She need to get it out to the 10th. It almost crosses over and pushes the 3 pin in the 6-10. What you have to guard against here is chopping the 6 off the 10. She's gone with a spare ball. And something I've always liked, Dave, is a little cutter or what I call a backup ball. And not too many people have developed it. And really effective on cross-lane spares on the right.
Which she covers nicely, takes care of the 6-10. We saw that a moment ago about her competing in Nebraska, winning 2 national titles. That was the last time she was on TV. She told us just before the show tonight during the final warm-ups, she was eerily calm. That's the right thing to be, eerily calm, right before your first TV appearance in a dozen years. We told you Lynda Barnes finishing just out of the top 5. She's the defending champion and the bowler of the year last year for good reason, with 2 major victories. Terrell Kearney as well. Ashley Galante, Kendra Gaines, Shannon O'Keefe, great bowlers. We all saw an action bowl last night at the stadium, vying for the top 5.
You bet. Stephanie Nation gave it a good run, too.
Again off target.
Well, Brenda has actually been kind of lucky, and I hate to say that. She could have really gotten buried here by Lisa Bishop, but she's kept her, you know, in the game. She's filling the frame. If she makes this spare and strikes out, she can have a potential 222. She only trails by 15, and as we all know, almost all games are won in the last 2 frames, so there's a lot left in this game for both players.
Increases her stat, spare conversion number, single pin conversion for her. Back to Lisa Bishop from just outside Detroit. All-time favorite Detroit athlete. She tells us Darren McCarty was a great power forward, tough guy for the Red Wings, won 4 Stanley Cups. Got to meet him when he walked into their bowling center outside Detroit and asked to have a ball drilled. She immediately grabbed a Red Wings logo ball off the wall, bought it, and had him sign it on the spot.
Smart woman.
Exactly.
If you're not ready, don't go. We have a 25-second rule in professional bowling.
I'll let
and
the helicopter go over.
sometimes you get one freebie, but if she's not ready or she comes up with a legitimate excuses, we have a sellout crowd here where somebody's moving or whatnot. You're better off taking your time. And even if you have 2 or 3 times where you go past the 25 seconds, pay the fine. It's not worth bowling the biggest tournament there is. Now she's up, resets herself, a 7th frame with a 15-pin lead.
She was so far off the mark, it worked out well for her. Nearly had the 7-10 split. Instead, all 10 down to the pit for Lisa Bishop.
It was standing.
She's on the right side of the lane, and she's throwing the ball hard and straight, covering about the first arrow. You saw the ball right over the first arrow. That's the 5th board. She just tickles the head pin. And watch the head pin do a lot of the damage. Comes across and takes out the 2, 4, 5, and 7. The 6 takes out the 10. Let's see if she can capitalize on that fortuitous strike there in the 7th. Leads by 15, can make it 25.
She does.
You know, Dave, that was by far her best shot in the match. And the way she's looking back there, she realized that was her best shot, and she almost went high. So now she's telling herself, okay, I'm settled down. I'm not playing the lanes properly. And if you don't do that, they'll eventually bite back at you. So she'll have to make a change somewhere in this match.
Let's go down to Kathy.
Yeah, basically both girls are playing the lanes exactly the way they did all week. Brenda played the track, Lisa played further right. Now Lisa did say earlier in practice the lanes hooked a little bit more, but when she came in tonight they were tighter, so she's further right.
Kathy, the players did get an hour of practice this morning at 9 o'clock local, then came back for about an hour before the show started. And the lane's much different than the stadium set up across the street here in Reno.
Edwards with just a terrific shot there at almost 17 miles an hour, and that's an ideal speed to win majors. Our statistician today, 2-time U.S. Open champion Del Ballard, I got to call his 2 U.S. Open victories, and he was right at that 17.5 mile an hour speed. That's good on these slicker lanes, and you don't get tapped much like that. Del hardly ever got tapped. The guy got the greatest breaks.
Right. Got to give him a microphone to defend himself. He's right next to you.
All right, right now, 25 pins in a row. Needs this strike. Right now, 9th frame, Edwards.
Foundation frame looks for the turkey, needs it.
Okay, here's the